year there will be a lot of earthquake, especially Asia. A lot of earthquake. America will experience one great, powerful. The last one we received was called Victoria or something. Hurricane. This one will be so serious, and the Lord will protect His own. I see that thing around Denver, hitting Denver. One also hit Florida. One will hit California, but California, it will not go into California City, it will hit the down-ending part of California.
Central Philippines has been hit by a 6.6 magnitude earthquake. At least one person is dead and dozens have been injured. 14 aftershocks have been recorded so far, with the strongest registering a magnitude of 3.5.
Florida news. If it's not one thing, it's another. There's been an earthquake measuring 4.0 on the Richter scale. You see there on our map the epicenter, so a long way from Jacksonville, centered near Mount Carmel. It's located in Florida's Panhandle, right along the Alabama border. People reported feeling it nearly 30 miles.
There are reports the earthquake was felt in downtown Miami. Chopper 4 over the scene, where people evacuated a church and are leaving other buildings.
He has been struck by a powerful earthquake off its Aegean coast, causing buildings to collapse in the coastal city of Izmir. The quake's epicenter was north of the Greek island of Samos, with the U.S. Geological Survey putting it at a magnitude of 7.0.
This year, America will lose one God general. Last year, who was here when I made a prophecy about America losing one general? This year, it happened. December 31st.
Gospel legend Rance Allen dies at 71. Rance Allen was an American bishop, minister, and gospel musician, and the founder and leader of the famed Rance Allen Group. Known for his extremely wide vocal range and powerful singing voice, Allen became known as the main lead vocalist and the leader of the influential group. One of gospel's biggest icons has passed. Bishop Rance Allen, one of our...
There will be an assassination attack on Trump's life. There will be an assassination attack. The friendship between Trump and the Russian president will be so sour. Right now. Things the Lord showed me of my idea. This year they will pass a new law. And this law will favor a little to immigrants. I'm not saying full, I say a little. Somebody shall do that here.
It makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation. Parents were ripped, their kids were ripped from their arms and separated. And now they cannot find over 500 sets of those parents, and those kids are alone. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go.
Ask about your immigration policy, Mr. Vice President. The Obama administration did fail to deliver immigration reform, which had been a key promise during the administration. It also presided over record deportations as well as family detentions at the border before changing course. So why should voters trust you with an immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States, not vice president of the United States. And the fact is, I've made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And all of those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy.
It's like for God to speak to you and tell you some things. Did I speak about India? India will also experience earthquakes. There will be a serious bloodshed. And I pray that God will cancel that one. And I've seen that one in Nigeria. It's going to be very tough more than all the bloodshed that I've okay. It's going to be so tough. More than the bloodshed.
Dominic Raab says he's alarmed by widespread reports of civilian deaths in Nigeria and called for an end to the violence. The human rights group Amnesty International says it has received credible and disturbing evidence that Nigerian security forces shot and killed at least 12 people taking part in peaceful protests last night in the country's largest city, Lagos. For weeks now, there have been demonstrations against police brutality across Africa's most populous country. Protesters accuse the now disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS, of torture. Nigeria's president has appealed for calm while the army has denied any involvement. An indefinite curfew has been imposed on several regions, including Lagos.
A city
From where
in
our
chaos.
correspondent,
Across Lagos, buildings have been torched and sporadic clashes have erupted. This is what sparked the outcry. Soldiers shooting unarmed protesters in the country's largest city.
They are shooting at us. They are shooting.
What happened here on Tuesday night has deeply unsettled Nigerians. This is not the first time the army has been accused of shooting innocent protesters, but the fact that it happened here in what was one of the most peaceful protest sites in NSAS has ignited an already volatile situation.
What started off as a protest against police brutality has widened to calls for change in the status quo and in
Kenya will experience earthquake. And the Lord will deliver his own out of it.
Has now dismissed allegations that the country could be split into two following the emergence of fault lines in Mai Mahiu, Naivasha. The organization has...
Towns in Kenya have experienced tremors following an earthquake that occurred this evening some 89 kilometers south of Dar es Salaam. Now, the U.S. Geological Service said the earthquake, which occurred some minutes after 8 p.m., had a preliminary magnitude of about 6.0. There were no immediate reports of damage or injuries, though the shaking was widely felt across the region. People near the epicenter reported that the quake came in two waves. First, there was around 8 to 10 seconds of vibration, and then a second long shock.
I hope you are writing all these things down. This year, the rate of broken homes should be so high. And the Lord knows his own. One thing the Lord showed me was so serious. The last time I told you people here that the capital shall be taken from where? Who was the one who gave that prophecy? About Israel or Jerusalem, I told people that the capital shall be lifted to. Who was the one that made that prophecy? And I said to you, from where? To Jerusalem. Did it come to pass? Okay. This year, they will start rebuilding the temple. And listen to me. The Lord told me that, the rebuilding of the temple is telling believers to come upright with God.
Nations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Tensions are mounting within Israel's right-wing bloc over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's declared decision to adopt the U.S. administration's regional peace initiative in its entirety.
Shalom and welcome to today's virtual Israel tour. Over the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about some of the amazing outcomes of the 1967 Six-Day War. Today, we want to show you a prophetic shift that occurred when the Temple Mount came back into Jewish hands, opening the door to the building of the Third Jewish Temple. Some called it a kiss from heaven.
Anything can happen this year. Anything can happen this year. So if you are washing your clothes, wash it well. And don't leave any place. Hallelujah. The scientific system of America will discover a very one serious high sickness, higher than HIV.
Second confirmed case of coronavirus in the U.S. right here in the Windy City.
A government plane is planning to evacuate Americans from Wuhan.
The only way China can be coronavirus, we're protesting for Hong Kong's independence.
The White House announcing that it has created a coronavirus task force.
President Trump is set to ban foreign nationals who pose a transmission risk from entering the country.
Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
The number of infections on the Diamond Princess cruise ship has doubled.
The 15 within a couple of days is going to be down to close to zero.
Health officials in Washington state confirm a patient has died from the infection.
Here's what we know about New York City patient.
It wasn't a question of if, but when.
The U.S. does not have enough coronavirus test kits.
It's a virus, like the flu.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe.
Customers have been snapping up everything in sight.